Yo, it's Ed, but back with another commentary. So this might not even be the best list to do this on, but I want to do another list to keep content flowing, to keep the juices flowing on doing the next list, which is actually going to be way harder. The next list I'm going to do after this one is the Thanksgiving list. Feel free to subscribe to my channel for upcoming playlists and commentaries like this one. If you like what I'm doing, please share, like, and subscribe. So this one is songs with numbers in the title. It sounds simple. It sounds like, oh, there are a bunch of songs with numbers in the title. This one I was just doing 1 through 10. There are a bunch of songs I could have picked. This is one of those lists I ended up breaking my rule on. I generally have this rule where I try to do no-brainer songs. There are a couple of no-brainer songs in this one. And now I stayed away from the obvious ones. One from Metallica, not on this list. Two Hearts by Phil Collins, also not on this list. The first one I did was One Nation Under a Groove by Parliament Funkadelic. Just jumping right into it. It's Parliament. You can't get any cooler than Parliament. You can't get any funkier than Parliament. You can't get any better. There are better one songs, probably. But I wanted to find a song, and it's the nature of most of my lists is trying to expose people to either music that they haven't heard, music that they've forgotten, or music that I might like it, you might not like it, and we just find new music together. Everybody loves Parliament. Parliament's one of those. It's a jam. Once somebody plays any Parliament song, but particularly this one, people go nuts. So the next one, in a ubiquitous one that it's sort of a no-brainer. If you're from like the late 80s, early 90s, it's absolute no-brainer. It's also probably one of the most recognized opening verses in the history of hip-hop. I Wanna Rock Right Now. It's Rob Bass. I Wanna Rock Right Now. Don't you know that I came to get down? I'm not internationally known, but I'm known to rock the microphone. It's a great hook. Everybody knows it. When everybody hears it, they're like, oh, yeah, I remember that song. So it's great. I love Rob Bass. I hate that apparently Rob Bass got into some kind of... He got arrested recently for a warrant that was 17 years old. First of all, I didn't know the NYPD was that diligent, despite all the television shows. I don't know why. By the way, it's Rob Bass. It's not like you can't find Rob Bass. It's not like he was hiding anywhere. I think he still has lived in New York all these years. It's not like he was going anywhere. But you couldn't find him in New York. Like in Brooklyn or Queens or wherever he's be. Really. The next one is, it's a Beastie Boys joint. It's 3 MCs and 1 DJ. I actually really like this video. I like the concept of this video because it kind of is what I imagined as a kid in New York being. Well, back up. It's not even what I imagined as a kid in New York being in the early 80s, late 70s. It's kind of the way the media portrayed it. Just as this cold, but ultra cool. I mean, it's New York in the wintertime, so it's cold and ultra cool. There just seemed to be, in the 80s in New York, before New York miraculously cleaned up in the 90s, New York had this kind of gritty aesthetic, and it's one of the things that the Beastie Boys had that made them. I think it helped make their legend. I think it added to their mystique. And I think it added to their sound. And the video, I think is just kind of cool and unique. It's also one of those songs. I have friends who I thought were really into the Beastie Boys. Like I thought the Beasties were their jam, and I was wrong. The Beasties are their jam, but they told me that it's not one. It fits kind of what I like to do with this category is taking a song or a band that everybody knows like the Beasties, and digging deep into their catalog and going, hey, have you heard this song? So that's why 3 MCs is on this one, other than the fact that it's 3. I probably could have done 3 Marlenas by the Wallflowers, who appear later on this list. I probably could have done 3 Libras by Perfect Circle. So there are 2 off the bat better 3 songs in this one. Everybody's heard 3 Libras, and I end up using 3 Libras on another list down the road. I gotta say, I have to say now. So it is what it is. 3 Marlenas, I'm actually gonna use on another list too. Not even for the 3 aspect of that song. The story in 3 Marlenas I find fascinating because it's a very relatable story. It's a common person story. It's a relationship story about a guy and a girl. The other song I think that I'm probably putting on that list is an Everclear song that's similar, that tells us a similar story. Check out if you can figure out what song that is, drop it in the comments. The next song on this list is Friend is a 4-letter word by Cake. I love Cake. I think they're underrated as a 90s band. I think that their cover of I Will Survive I think it's actually on my covers list, which I haven't done on this format yet. What I enjoy about that song is the hook. There's this horn section hook that I like in that song. I like that it's like a lot of this stuff. It's in a minor key, and it has this somber dirge theme to it that I really like. The next song on this list, I'm also trying to do something in this commentary that's different from the last 2. So the one I did before this was 22 minutes. The one I did after that one was 4 minutes. I'm trying to do one kind of in the middle of that to figure out if the difference in how long it takes to upload something. So you're getting like kind of behind the scenes on this one. So that's what's going on. I'm trying not to rush, but I'm trying to get a lot of story told while I'm doing it. So here we go. I got 5 on it by Lunds. I never pronounced the name of that band right. You can't end up talking about that song. The remix of that song is on my covers list. So I'm going to talk about both songs for a second because I love the remix is amazing. The movie that it's associated with is also amazing. I love the fact that they take this song, which is a 90s party anthem, and turn it into this fear anthem in that movie. One of the things I think that movie does well, and I think one of the things that Get Out does well too. This song might turn into like a short film critique. Both of those movies end up taking what are general everyday aesthetics, like things you don't think about being scared about. No one thinks about being scared of suburbia. No one thinks about being scared of themselves. No one thinks about being scared of... I'm actually going to look something up while I'm talking about it. Hold on. Give me a second. I'll do this kind of on the fly because I'm forgetting something. Us. You would think I would remember that movie. You'd think I would stop saying the name of that movie. The thing that both us and one of the things that both us and Get Out have in common is that they take general unscary aesthetics like suburbia or family trips or yourself in general or even this song. What's so if you've ever heard the remix of the remix of I Got Five on It, it's hard to not, once you've heard the remix and you go back and listen to the original, it's hard to not have, even now, to go, this song is unintentionally scary. Because masterfully, they use the hook from that song in the trailer, and it gets you. Like, you're just like, do-do-do, you're like, what's going on? Like, it's just, it doesn't mean, it's not, I think that's what he was going for, but it's like, it gets you. And it's I guess the masterwork that is Us, in a sense, is that it takes everyday, really the masterwork of what Peele is doing anyway. It's just taking, and it's one of the reasons why he so fits for the Twilight Zone, is that a lot of those stories are about mundane activities or events or situations with a twist. So I'm all about that. You forget, when I went back and listened to this song, you forget it's a general 90s party anthem about weed. And it's about taking weed to the party and just 90s in general. What I think is so interesting about that group too is, and when this song came out, and maybe this is a personal aside on 90s hip hop culture for like a minute or so. I think there's this very interesting musically cultural gap that happens between, I'd say, 88 and say 94, where there's this whole smorgasbord really of culturally conscious rap music that isn't gangster, and it isn't party rap necessarily, that gets kind of missed for a second. And it is Public Enemy and Tribe Called Quest and De La Soul, and it's sort of Arrested Development. But all these groups, these hip hop groups in that era, is KRS-One, that were doing really culturally conscious. I guess not. Well, you can't say Chuck D is not threatening. Let's not tell that lie. Just the image of Chuck D and Professor Griff and that whole crew is threatening, which is why they were so successful and why they raised consciousness the way they did. But there's this, hip hop wasn't as monolithic before gangsta showed up. You know, like way before the East Coast West Coast thing and a lot of the ancillary acts that surrounded that whole genre of hip hop. There was a couple of years there where it's just like, like what's really going on in hip hop? And then that just disappeared the day NWA really came on the scene in the East Coast. Now, mind you, the East Coast West Coast thing had been a thing for a long time, as New York rappers will tell you. But that's either here nor there. That's probably like, I could do a whole commentary on my feelings on East Coast West Coast and which, if you had to do like a 5-on-5 war game scenario, which 5 hip hop artists should go up against which 5, East Coast versus West Coast, and it was like a throwdown, I actually might end up doing that one. That might be pretty interesting. So 6 is 6th Avenue Heartbreak. I'm just going with that, but I got 5 on it. 6 is 6th Avenue Heartbreak by the Wallflowers. Bringing Down the Horse is just a great record. I'm sorry. That record doesn't get enough discussion, mostly because people at the time, before they really listened to it, I think people thought Jakob Dylan was just I'm gonna tread on the name of Bob Dylan. And then they listened to the record and they were like, okay, wait a minute. What's he's in the style of kind of what the legacy of his family is, but he kind of makes it his own thing. And he does, in a way, and this is no dig on either him or his father, they sound similar. They can't help but sound similar. He sounds a lot more articulate, I guess, than a lot of his father's stuff at the same point in his career. I think it would be, Might be too heavy for him to do. I don't know if I could ever do it. Would cover one of my dad's old songs. Like, I don't know if I could ever pull something like that off. But I would love to hear him try to do it. But Sixth Avenue, and I don't even think Sixth Avenue is the best song on that record. It is a song that got them noticed, and it helped their association with Counting Crows, because I think Adam is on that track singing harmony. And I think Dan plays guitar on that track too. Dan from the lead guitarist from Counting Crows, I think, plays guitar on that track. Bringing It Home, like I say, under listened to record even from that era. Very good song. Number 7 is 7 by Prince and New Power Generation. There's a whole lot of my friends that have attached a whole lot of that song. First of all, that song is a very spiritual song when you get down and listen to the lyrics of that song. Prince doesn't get enough credit for the uplifting and sometimes Christian messages that reverberate through his music. There's a list I'm working on. I was thinking about last night, talking to a friend of mine last night about secular artists. So, or one would say secular artists that have done profoundly Christian music. And I'll give you, it's going to be on the list. I'm going to talk about it because this song is kind of that sort of vein. Go listen to the lyrics and Let's Go Crazy. We're not going to let the elevator break us down. The story behind Let's Go Crazy and why it got kind of tucked in the middle of the album that's on. And I think missing the message of that song initially was the point. Because I think God bless the dead. I think that Prince was really trying to, you'll find at least one song of his like this on most of his early stuff before he shifts for a bunch of various reasons that the research on was very interesting on. Because he makes a religious change in the middle of his life that's super interesting, and even got him misunderstood by the people he made the change for, which I thought which in other contexts to me is very telling. But 7 is amazing. The video is amazing. The craftsmanship of that song is still amazing. He also does, and a couple other people have done it. Dave Matthews does it on Minarets, I think. There's who else? There's a couple other songs that have this kind of this Middle Eastern undertone to that I think is when done right is very good. Eight is Driver 8 by R.E.M., which is on Fables of the Reconstruction. I still think Fables is their best record. And I love Document. I love Automatic for the People. Fight me on Fables being their best record. Because it's sort of... Because you have Fables of the Reconstruction and Reconstruction of Fables, which is the B-side of that record. And the concept of that record I thought was very good. But that album is the album that I guess in REM lore, I guess you could say, is kind of what began to really develop their sound. Some people disagree with that. I really think Fables is their best record. Even though I like the kind of lo-fi sound that it has. I like the fact that you can see Michael Stipe developing as a songwriter. It's also where the Peter Buck guitar style really makes its mark and really begins to kind of come into being what it's supposed to be. 9 is 9 Crimes by Damien Rice, which I love that dude's voice. That dude is I think he works better in duets. I really want him to come out with another record. If he has one, I'd like to hear it. 10th, to kind of move forward a little faster. 10th Avenue Freeze Out appears on the Wintertime playlists. I tried to do the same song on 2 playlists. It ended up on this one because it's just 10. And as a side note, I did this because I went back to my Facebook page, which is the original format I was doing these on, for content to do in the new format to see how it works. So I'd done 10th Avenue on the list I'm doing now before I did the winter thing. So, like I said, I tried to do 2 songs in the same list, but 10th Avenue is just a great song. Saved by Zero on The Fix. It's a great 80s track. Not necessarily, I gotta work on this arm thing. It's indicative of kind of the early 80s sound. Just good song. 1, 2, 3, 4 by Feist is number 12. I think Feist is a great artist. The thing I love about this song is that it's hopeful yet mournful at the same time. Like, there's this really sad undertone to it that just makes it crystalline in a way. Like, it's just phenomenal. Typical Situation by the Dave Matthews Band, which is 13. I love this song because A, it's fun to sing. It's fun workout song to sing to when you're working on your vocals. I love the fact that lyrically you can, in your mind's eye, you can see everything he's talking about in the song. Beautiful song. 14 is Nothing from Nothing Means Nothing. You gotta have something. When Eddie Murphy brought that up in Delirious, I lost my mind. His father talking about him getting punched in the face. You had to do something. Dude punched you in the mouth. Bro. I laugh at that today. It's a wonder. I don't know why Eddie Murphy doesn't do more stand-up. Or why I guess he's talking about doing a stand-up thing now. He's I guess made all the Disney money you can make. So maybe. I'm interested in what he's got to say, though. You've been out of the stand-up game for ever, really. Like, I can't remember the last time Eddie Murphy did a set anywhere. Anybody in the days of cell phone cameras and you know, getting caught somewhere when you don't think anybody's, you know, filming you. The fact that no one has video of Eddie Murphy in a club somewhere trying to test out new material, I'm kind of amazed. The last one's 99 Luftballons or Red Balloons by Nena. This is a great song. The German version, what's so amazing about that song to me is the German version in America got over way better than the English version, which is kind of unique. Even for that time, and I don't know that it could happen today. I don't know that the only other thing that I've seen work that way is Du Hast, because everybody loves Rammstein. Well, I can't say everybody loves Rammstein. There was a point where people were into that song, and I don't think anybody, I haven't heard the English translation of that song. I'm probably going to go look it up now I'm talking about it, but that's the only song I can think of that was in another language that didn't immediately get translated that worked. That people were just like, I gotta listen to that song. In this case, it helps that Nena is just super attractive. Even today, I think she's fairly still super attractive. I do like the English version of this song, though. Like, when you go back and just listen to just the story that gets told in that song, it's relevant and timeless in a way that I think is kind of unintended. But very amazing song. So that's this list. That's the 15 songs for songs with numbers in the title. Feel free to add your songs in the comment section. Things that you like, things you didn't like about this video. So it's like my 3rd video, so I'm trying to really get used to doing these. Tell me if I'm doing a good job. Tell me if I suck. Let me know what I can fix. I know I'm working on the own thing. As someone who did public speaking for a long time, you'd think I had not developed this tick, because I haven't done it in a while. So I'm really getting into rehoning this skill, getting it down. By the time I get to like video 10, I should be like great at this. So we'll see what happens. The playlist will probably be, as usual, done first, because it's way easier on YouTube to put the playlist together and while I'm uploading the commentary. So that's today's commentary. Tomorrow I'm probably going to shoot another video. I gotta figure out which one I'm gonna do. Haven't figured out yet. I'm probably gonna go ahead and do the Thanksgiving one so that everybody has a Thanksgiving list to play if they feel like they want to play music at their family gathering. Oh, I'm also interested in what people do with these playlists. Like, are people listening to these playlists? What do you think about these playlists? Do you think that they're useful for people? I don't know that anybody, I haven't really searched YouTube for anybody, if anybody's doing this the way I'm doing it. Playlists on topics and just linking songs together. The next one, there are a couple I want to do that have like an actual import in their stories behind them, like I tried to do with the first one. Really kind of explain, because the next level of what I'm going to do with this format or with this idea is I'm trying to build towards picking a subject matter and picking songs to tell a particular story about a particular subject. And I figure once I get the overall concept down of here's a playlist, here's what's interesting about the playlist, and then here's a topic, whether it's things I don't like about the color blue, like just something highly specific that you can do a playlist for. That's kind of where I want to get to as a challenge. So we'll see if I can get to that. But yeah, so that's probably gonna end this video. Like I say, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. I gotta come up with a name for this channel. At some point, I'm gonna start doing videos different from this concept. Might be history videos, might be political commentary, might be wrestling commentary. There's a lot of different things I'm into, so I might do separate channels for all those things. I hadn't figured out the viability of those because there's a lot of people doing all those. I felt like this idea was unique, so if it isn't, that's fine. I'm still gonna do it because I have fun doing it. So let me know what you think. I'm looking forward to the feedback, and I will catch you all later. I'm not doing Rob's outro. So, hit me up. Let me know. Bye.